Hi everyone, you're listening to the Health and Wellbeing podcast. I'm Alison Mitchell, a practicing naturopath, and you can find me on naturopathnSW.com.au. Today I'll be talking about stress and anxiety and being crazy and calm with Naturopath Melinda King. These podcasts will feature discussions on various health conditions, health tips, and nutrition from a naturopathic perspective. Sometimes it's just me, sometimes I'm interviewing guests. All the time, I hope to share with you information on health and well-being with the aim to empower and educate. Please remember that all information is general and not a specific recommendation that replaces consulting with a practitioner. Please talk to your healthcare practitioner before undertaking any changes to your treatment regime. So, hi Melinda, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me, Alison.
Such a pleasure. So do you want to talk a bit about yourself and introduce yourself to those who don't know you?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a naturopath. I actually studied with Alison, for those that don't know, back in 2006, I think, 2007, 8, I can't even remember how long ago it was. And the way I got onto naturopathy was I struggled with a lot of health issues from a young age, and also, in my teens, into my 20s, even before that. And what I found, I was going from doctor to doctor and not really getting anywhere. And what did really help me was that when I was about 18, I went to see my first naturopath, and she really helped me understand that I could heal myself, and I could go on different herbal supplements and flower essences and change my diet and change my mindset. And those simple strategies were probably the catalyst that really helped me get well. And that also encouraged me to become a naturopath myself, because it started to work for me. It didn't heal everything because, these things do take time, but it certainly, things really, really did improve. And I thought there's something to be said in natural therapies and what naturopaths have to offer. So I thought, that's it. I want to go and become a naturopath. And so I did the 4-year training, the degree program in health science, and then practiced in a few different clinics in Sydney, and then finally did the big move to Melbourne and set up my practice, which is at the Terra Madre Wellness Clinic, which is, for those in Melbourne probably do know it. It's an amazing, very, very, very large health food store, and there's a clinic upstairs. So it's bustling. It's incredible, the store that's there. It's got everything you can think of. So it's a really great place to work at. But the clinic's upstairs, and I get to work with some really great other practitioners as well, which is awesome. And I've been there for about 5.5, nearly 6 years. So I get to see a lot of beautiful clients and help them on their journey as well. So that's me. And just to sort of explain how I work is that I started when I first set up my practice in 2009. I started to see a lot of women with a lot of health issues, digestive issues, and stress and skin problems, menstrual issues, and I was helping them with the naturopathic techniques that I was taught at university. But to be honest, it wasn't until I did my Reiki Master Certificate in 2010 that things started to really change for my clients and myself as well. And I was able to work more deeply on a spiritual and an energetic level. And that's something I had never even thought I was going to go down, but that's the path I went down, which was really amazing. So I combined the two, the energetic work and also the naturopathic traditional work as well. And that's where that's how I came up with how I practice now, which is something I'm really proud of, and it's a really nice journey because it's been able to help me with my health problems as well. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's beautiful. What I love so much is how everyone is, so many naturopaths have got such different styles, and you've really created that specific style for you. So for people who are drawn like that, that's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and there's something to be said for all different ways of working, and there's no right or wrong way. It's whether you get results.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
what I do is very different to some of the other naturopaths I work in the clinic, and that's completely fine. And we attract different clients for different reasons. And it's just to help that person as much as you can with the skills and the magic that you have to offer. Um, there's no right or wrong, I think, but
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, but that's definitely something that I've found really helped me with my health journey, and I've been able to transfer it onto other people's health story, and they're getting results, even more so than just practicing just herbal medicine on its own or just nutrition. I've been able to have more of a holistic approach, which I get more results, and that's all I'm after, to be honest. So that's good.
And I'm sure that's what your patients are after as well as the results too.
I know, I'm very results driven, but it's good because that's what they're paying me to see me for.
That's it.
Yeah.
So what have you been getting up to lately?
So I just came back from a whole month in New York in June. So it was really beautiful because it's pretty chilly in Melbourne, and having that first summer month over there was really lovely, getting some vitamin D. And yeah, we just I went with my partner, and we just wandered around and dined a lot, and just really explored the city. We didn't do any of the traditional uh, tourist things or anything. We just really wanted to experience New York as a local. And it was beautiful. We honestly just wandered around and got lost in the city, because it's such an amazing and big city to get lost in, as for anyone that's been there. So yeah, we went to some really great restaurants and cafes, and I was on a mission to find healthy eateries in New York.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
yeah, which is something that, most people go to New York or America and they're like, right, it's all about hamburgers and pizza and hot dogs, and that's all fine if you want to try that every now and again, but it's not sustainable, and you're going to feel pretty rubbish by the end of the trip if that's all you're going to eat. So I said, that's it. I'm going to do my research, and I'm going to find some really great eateries that are healthy, or at least relatively healthy. And so I did. I found some really great spaces where they have a lot more artisan type of approaches to eating, and really fresh. There's vegan eateries, there's vegetarian spots, there's farmers markets and little cafes around there, and there is quite a movement happening, which is really great, because I think everyone in the world needs a bit of a diet overhaul when it comes to all the fast food that, especially in New York, the fast food that's so commonplace. So there is a shift happening. It's small, but it's happening, and I think it would be a lot to do with Whole Foods. Whole Foods Market is this incredible supermarket that it's like a supermarket, but it's mostly organic, and it's and natural foods there, and it's got everything that you can think of, and so that's kind of one of the only fresh food markets available, and there's a lot of different spots around the New York in the Manhattan area. And that's becoming commonplace as well. So people are cottoning on to the fact that eating healthy makes you feel well, it makes you have more energy, it makes you think clearer, makes you more productive, and when they do that, then they feel the results, and they go, okay, I really got to keep going with this diet thing. So that's why I went there, saying I really want to find where these really beautiful and healthy places are, and so I did. So I found probably about 20. And
Wow.
So, yeah, I've written about that in a couple of blog posts. So I've got the first one, which is Brooklyn, and I've got one coming up today, which is the Manhattan version. So,
oh, nice. Oh, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah, stay tuned.
So what was your absolute favourite, like in terms of meal and also restaurant?
In terms of meal and restaurant. Okay, so I would have to say over in Brooklyn, there's this hospitality group that they've got a handful of different restaurants and cafes. But the one that I love the most is called Reynard, and it's underneath the Wythe Hotel. So it's on the water, it's just near the the Williamsburg Bridge, and it overlooks the whole Manhattan skyline. It's absolutely gorgeous. You have to go there to the rooftop bar that they have upstairs. But the restaurant downstairs is called Reynard, and it's really beautifully decorated. The decor's really nice tiles and vintage lampshades. Love it. But the meals themselves, the mackerel is fantastic. So the mackerel with lots of greens, and then they've got a tomato heirloom salad as well.
Oh, yeah.
So you can. Yeah, it was so yummy, and I went there about 4 times because it was so good. So there are places that you can go. I mean, yes, you do have to spend a little bit more money than your $5 pizza, but it's so worth it. And you end up feeling better as a result, and enjoy your holiday as well. Yeah.
I know, like for me and Tim as well, when we go on holidays, food is such a big focus of it. And so going to these beautiful restaurants and things like that is so good. And it's great that you've compiled these resources for people who are going to go and want somewhere healthy to go.
Yeah.
So if I ever go, I'll be printing out your blogs.
Hopefully. Well, yeah, when I was doing my research, I was looking for, really great restaurants to go to, and I'm thinking, if only someone had, a healthy version, a bit of a blog. And I thought, well, I'll just make one. I'll just do it myself. Yeah, so I did the work.
Got to fill that gap.
Yeah.
And apart from food, what else did you get up to when you were in New York?
So I did a small conference. So I went to the Gabby Bernstein Spirit Junkie Masterclass.
Wow.
And so for those that don't know, Gabby Bernstein is a spiritual teacher. She's also a Kundalini yoga teacher and meditation teacher as well. But her main message is to really teach people how to, I guess, leverage their business if they're in the spiritual or health industry to really, if you feel the call, if you feel compelled to help others, that it's to start now and to actually get out there and spread your message, spread your love, spread your health teachings wherever you can, because people need our help. And I'm also talking to those who are listening. If you do feel that urge to help others in a big way, especially when it comes to health and spirituality, just start because the world needs help, it needs care, it needs love. As she says, there's more miserable people in the world than happy. So, people that we have this knowledge, we can go out there and encourage one another to step up in our lives and our businesses. So that's what it was about 2.5 days, and that's what the course was about. So it was really great. She's such an amazing teacher. She keeps it real. She wears a leather jacket. She's got a potty mouth like nothing before. She's hilarious. But she doesn't care. She's just real. She embraces her imperfections. She's honest, and that's what I really love about her. She's not trying to be some perfect guru on stage. She's just saying this is how it is, and we need to help everyone where we can. So I'm really glad I went to that, because it really solidified what I do as a practitioner, and just made me confident that I'm like, okay, great, like I'm actually on the right path, and this feels really good, and where can I improve in my business and my own practice as well. So it was more of a motivating thing for me, the conference itself. So it was great, and she's awesome.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That would have been such a wonderful experience seeing her talk, because she's pretty epic.
Oh, she's full on. She just she just gets in her mode and she just talks. I mean, she was a publicist for many years, and so she's got that confidence, and she's so self-assured, within herself. And she just puts it out there, and it's just great. It's just so great to see the passion in what she does. So I was really fortunate that I got to go to that, and I just happened to be in New York at that very time that it was on. So it was perfect for me.
Oh, great. So you didn't
Yeah.
actually go there for that. You went there for the holiday, and that just happened to be there.
Exactly. So it was, a little bit of the old divine timing.
Nice.
Yeah, it was, I booked my holiday and my flights, and the week I just happened to be in Manhattan was at the exact time that conference was on. So it was perfect.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the holiday that you had before then wasn't actually a real holiday, it was a work holiday, and that was spent developing your new exciting program.
Yes! You've been following me.
Yeah. I think that's an amazing idea, and I'm definitely on board for that.
Oh, it was so
having a
great.
work holiday.
It was so great. I won't take it as my own, but Sarah Wilson, the I Quit Sugar guru,
Yep.
she actually coined the term, as far as I know, the Think Week, and she I guess motivated me, and I thought, yeah, I'm really going to go and do that. I'm going to just go away for a week, have a think about what my next step is, what I want to do with, I wanted to develop a program of some sort, but I wasn't really sure what. And I just thought I need the space, and I needed to be alone in order to do that and not be distracted. And I needed to be in a beautiful environment. So I chose Bali.
Nice.
So it was great.
And you went by yourself, didn't you?
Yeah. Went there for the week, and I honestly, the first few days, I'm just relaxing. I'm not even going to look at the laptop or anything. I'm just going to just see what happens. I needed to get into that relaxed state first so I could start getting creative and get the ideas flowing. And it happened. It really, really did happen. Within the maybe third or fourth day, I started getting some ideas, started doing some writing, and that's when the ideas started flowing for my new project, my new program that I just launched. So, which is called Crazy to Calm.
Yeah.
So, I just launched that in June, and it's awesome. I'm really, really proud of it. It took a good 6 months to write.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very, very blessed that my partner's a designer and a photographer. So I've got that part out of the way, and we sort of work with that together. And we had some very, very late nights, I must say, in getting that all done and sorted. But I'm just so proud to launch it because the content itself really is what I do in my clinic, and it's a 10-week program, and it's each week you have a step that's revealed, and each step is to focus on stress reduction. So it's a stress reduction program itself. So I talk a lot about mindfulness and meditation and nutrition. I talk about the art of surrender and self-love, all of these things that are contributing to our stresses and our anxieties day to day. And this is actually what's causing a lot of the health problems that people are facing. So all of these steps, these are the advice I give in my clinic. And I thought, what if I compile all of those ideas and the successful techniques into a program, and people can go at their own pace and they can get it all in one, basically. So I did. So that's the program, which is really awesome. So yeah.
Beautiful.
It's good. Can I might just run through each step if
that'd be great. Yeah,
cool. I'll just briefly bring that up. Okay, so there's 10 steps, 10 weeks, and the first week is called Unwind, and this is all about reducing your stimulants and resetting your mindset. So the the classics that keep us stimulated are sugar and caffeine. So it's really about unwinding that nervous system so that we can actually start to drop into our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our relaxed state. Because the opposite is that horrible, fearful fight or flight response that we all hate, and that's the one that keeps us worked up. So it's about reducing those stimulants that are keeping us stressed. And then the second week is called Nourish, and that's all about getting the right nutrients for your body, for your nervous system and your adrenal glands, but also to prepare your meals. So a lot of busy people, they just don't allocate time to cook dinner or even go out and do a big shop or anything. So just getting that planned and prepared. So that's week 2. And then week 3 is called Breathe, and this is all about meditation. And so I've got a free meditation that I've recorded as well, and it's for beginners. So I've got lots of tips on how to start a meditation regime, to start, just with very small amounts, and go from there. Week 4 is called Accept, and this is all about accepting yourself in the moment and accepting where you're at, bringing in mindfulness techniques so that this helps reduce your anxiety and stress in your life. So that's a really big one as well, but we go a lot deeper into what mindfulness means in that one. And week 5 is called Surrender, and this is all about acknowledging situations in your life that you actually need to let go of, where you're trying to control the situation too much, and that's just causing too much anxiety. And there's a lot of situations in our life where we can't control them, and our control freak within ourselves tries to actually hold on to that too much, and we get anxious as a result. To be able to have that knowledge to surrender into it and let that go is such a powerful thing. I think that could be the most important part of the program. But I talk a lot about that in week 5. And then week 6 is called Slow. So it's slowing down everything. It's slowing down your pace, slowing down your eating. We all do things too quickly. And so I give tips on how to actually do that, and help drop into more of a slow, calm state rather than the crazy rushed state that we get ourselves in. And week 7 is called Refresh, and that's all about decluttering, move the energy out of your body, shifting the energy, move your body and get some music happening, actually help move some of that energy around the body that's lying stagnant, get rid of that. And week 8 is Connect. So this is about connecting back to yourself and also connecting to others and making sure that you found your tribe and you've got people, you've got support there, and also allowing yourself to feel vulnerable in that situation as well. And week 9 is called Love, and this is all about self-love and forgiveness. So a lot of the times, which is a biggie, it's a really, really big one, but a lot of the times we just walk around holding on to all of these grudges and we don't even realize it. And that those grudges just act as kind of like toxins in the body, so to speak. It's, they just hang around. We're constantly thinking of them. It's all this background noise. To be able to forgive and let go of that frees up so much energy in the body that might be causing some of your health problems. So that's a really, really big one. And week 10, so my favorite, which is Create, which is about accessing your creativity. And of course, when you're in that creative flow, stress can't exist. So that's the ultimate aim for the end of the program, is to get into our natural flow. So they're the 10 steps. So it's pretty comprehensive and there's a lot of information, but people can go at their own pace as well. So that's what I wanted to create.
I think that sounds beautiful. There's a few steps in there that I think really resonate with me, in terms of knowing how I would need to do that, like the letting go of grudges. That's been a thing that I've really worked on recently, and also the Create is so good, and I like that you've got all these colouring books and mindfulness colouring books coming out now, and they're so great, but then you're also talking about it in a bit of a different way to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's good. And I know when I'm helping people deal with stress, it's so tempting for people just to try and do everything all at once.
Oh,
And
I
so
know.
then, and it's so overwhelming for them. But having it really structured like that in an actual program means that it's so much more doable and you can maintain
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. And as you would know as a naturopath as well, that when you have a client with you, or a patient with you, and they've got a lot of stress going on, you can't bombard 10 steps at them. It's just completely unachievable in a small amount of time. And so you give them a few things to do at a time that's achievable, and then they feel good that they can actually do that. And so that's exactly what I wanted to create, where it's called drip fed. So each step is drip fed. You can only access it week to week. They can't access any of the content until that week is ready, to avoid that.
Because there are a lot of people that would be like, I'm just going to do it all now. It's going to be
Yeah.
great.
Oh my God, that would make me more crazy and overwhelmed if I did and then not do it at all.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, and that's really good. And I think that if you do each step properly, then you do need to dedicate that amount of time to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas if you sort of look at doing it all together, then you're not really going to get a good quality sort of approach to it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and you're right. And these things take time. I mean, 10 weeks is also very, very short
Mm.
as well. I mean, we're talking about years, that it takes to master all of these techniques. And it's just more of a taster, and an experience. You get to experience it for the week, and you can continue it obviously, but to give you a taste that these steps are what to continue on for the rest of your life, in order to help reduce your stress and your anxiety. So, that's also the beauty of it, is that you've got these tools and techniques forever, which is something I wanted to help people take home, have something to take home.
Yeah, so there's not a time limit on the resources that you do get once you've actually accessed that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
which is good. Yeah, that's really good.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, I just think stress is just so stress has such a huge impact on our health. Like it can just be related to so many different health conditions and things like that. And I don't think people realize how much of an impact stress can actually have on our health.
I know.
I know. Like I think I find that digestive complaints are a really common issue that are actually more so due to stress, that people don't understand that. And like you were saying before about that sympathetic parasympathetic nervous system balance, that's really important. So for anyone who's not really familiar with that, so our nervous system has two main mechanisms that it switches between. So there's the sympathetic nervous system, the fight and the flight response, which is triggered when we're dealing with stressful events. And so this has evolved over time for dealing with pretty big stresses. So like usually people say it's like when we're running away from a tiger or something like that. So our blood supply all gets directed to our muscles and our heart, basically everything that we need to actually literally fight or run away. And then what happens is that the blood supply is sacrificed from those other less essential organs like our digestive system or our reproductive organs. And so then if we're constantly in this state of stress, then these areas of our health are going to be jeopardized. And so ideally, once that stress is dealt with, then we switch back to the rest and digest phase, the parasympathetic nervous system, and then we can digest our food more, and we can have healthy hormones and healthy reproductive cycles and good fertility and things like that. But the thing is that we can't be in one or the other. And these times our body doesn't know how to differentiate sources of stress. So whereas we might be stuck in traffic or have a deadline with work or something along those lines, our body will react in that same way as if we were faced with a tiger. And so then all those other systems get sacrificed. And that's why we get so many health conditions along those lines. And unfortunately nowadays our stress our stress issues are ongoing and we don't get that switch off happening, and our ability to cope with the stress is so jeopardized as well. So this is where these sorts of, like, your program is so important for people to actually learn how to cope with stress and to be able to switch into that parasympathetic nervous system, because otherwise then you do get all these sorts of issues like with the digestive system, like reflux and constipation and bloating and nausea, and you might get period abnormalities, or you might get fertility issues. It can even contribute to skin problems as well. So lots of things that people don't really realize is due to the stress.
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it. You nailed it. And that's exactly the reason why I started delving more into stress, is because every client was turning up with all the things you mentioned, digestive issues and hormonal issues and skin problems and all sorts of different, like a cold and flu all the time. And we delve a lot deeper into, I talk a little bit about what's happening in their world and in their life. And they're suffering from all these stresses they didn't even know that it was stress. It becomes so normal to them. And so I get them onto a stress reduction program in some way, or even techniques, then their other health issues improve. And so I'm like, okay, this is like 99% of people, stress is affecting. We have to address the stress. We can't just have that Band-Aid effect and just sort of, here, take vitamin C and this and that, and just, hope that your cold improves. You've actually got to get to the bottom, the root cause of what's going on, which is you've got these emotions, they've got these drivers happening.
Yeah, why is your immune system suppressed in the first place?
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I found it. It was such a pivotal thing. I'm like, oh my God, if we just helped people reduce their stress, the body will kickstart into their natural healing, natural self-healing mechanism anyway, and then the body rebalances itself on its own. Obviously, it needs a little bit of a helping hand with different nutrients and diet and herbal medicine. Yeah, but if you support that and you actually help reduce the stress, things happen really, really quickly.
I say to people, you can eat the best diet in the world and you can take all the stress managing supplements, but if your lifestyle is dragging you in the opposite direction, then you're not going to have a chance.
Exactly.
Well, you're going to have a chance, but you're not going to heal the way that you should do.
Yeah, the way that you desire. You want to feel vibrant and alive and energetic, and you just can't do that when you're just bombarded by a heap of stress and your emotions are all over the place. So, yep, that's where Crazy to Calm came from.
Nice. Yeah, because your actual ability to heal from not only illnesses but also injuries is so affected when you're stressed as well.
Oh, big time. Big time. Because, I mean, like you were saying with the blood supply wants to go to the periphery just so it can run from a tiger. It's not even focusing on thriving, it's focusing on just survival. So we move that body out of survival mode and into thriving, and the body heals on amazing levels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay, so what do you do when you're so stressed, busy, and you're so time poor that you don't have time to meditate? This is something that people say to me. I don't have time to meditate.
Yep.
What's your response to this?
And it's more about a reevaluation of what they're doing with their time, because obviously what they're doing with their time isn't serving them. And I'm very, very sensitive to the fact that there are really, really busy mums out there, and they work full time and they're dropping the kids off, and they're living very, very busy lives. And not even people with kids, just people that are working 12, 14-hour days, ridiculous work hours. And I understand that they are very, very time poor. And I just say start with 2 minutes and practice a very, very small breathing technique. The one that I recommend is just called the 4-2-6-2 breath, and it's really easy. You can do it over 30 to 60 seconds, and it's just about stopping what you're doing and taking those deep breaths in. But you do the inhale over 4 counts, you hold for 2 counts at the top, then you exhale for 6 counts, and you hold for 2 at the bottom. So it's 4-2-6-2. And you can repeat that about 4 times, and that can be enough to pull you out of that fight or flight response as well. So just practicing that. Everyone can afford 2 minutes because, sometimes you got to go to the bathroom. So you can do it there. They can do it in the bathroom for all day, or do it in the shower or something. So it's just about starting very, very small.
Yeah. Do it while you're stuck in traffic. That's probably when you need it the most.
Yeah. Just make sure you don't close your eyes when you're driving.
Maybe while you're at the traffic lights.
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, so just starting somewhere.
Perfect, yeah. It's just even a little bit helps. Yeah. And then everything will flow. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any recommendations for dealing with negative or draining people?
Negative or draining people. All right, this is a good one because there are certain personalities out there that might trigger you. And to be honest, I'm going to say the answer that no one wants to hear, and it's actually forgive them and let it go, because this is where we actually hold on to these really small grudges and we keep thinking about them, and this just sets up a stress fear cycle again, and it's just this background noise. So when you find yourself actually going, oh my God, I can't believe that person said that, or I can't believe that they're acting in this way, you have to let it go, because people aren't perfect. People are going to do stupid things, and we have to actually not hold on to their behavior. We have to learn to let it go. So it's forgiveness. Forgiveness is it's uncomfortable, but it's also really, really powerful. So that's my answer to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? But no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess even when you're really, really good at stress management techniques and things like that, you're always going to have a bad day. Mm-hmm. So for people who have had a bad day and they've been working really hard at dealing with stress and getting together these stress techniques and things like that, what do you do if you have a really bad day and then you feel like, oh, it's all gone? Like, how do you get out of that ditch and get yourself back on track?
If you have time, meditation is a really, really amazing tool to pull you out of that fearful response. If you had a bad day, whenever you're feeling negative, meditation is the perfect time to meditate. When you're feeling really, really good, that's also a really good time to meditate, because meditation, there's a whole heap of things that's happening on brainwave level, and when we're really, really stressed, our brainwave frequencies are actually operating on a high beta level. It's where everything feels like an emergency. And so when we're meditating, that drops down into the alpha, which is very slower brain waves, where we're actually able to feel more relaxed. We're not in that panicked state. So meditation over time helps us be able to drop ourselves back into that alpha state more. So when we're having that shitty day, sorry for swearing, but when we're having that really bad day, actually just doing that 5-minute meditation and doing the breathing work can be enough to pull you out of that uncomfortable emotion that might be happening for you. The other one is to surrender to the situation. So I spoke a little bit about surrender before, which we talk about in the program, where if you are having a bad day, life's not going according to plan, or someone didn't behave the way you wanted them to behave, or lots of different scenarios. There is that control freak inside of you that actually wants to hold on to that. It wants to feel victimized. It wants to feel how dare people treat me like this way? I can't believe my life's not turning out this way. I can't believe, I didn't get the results I was after. You're holding on to something that may never be, and that creates a lot of stress. So it's actually taking those steps to say, I now allow myself to let go of control and be really, really open to the unknown. And that's easier said than done, but the practice of it, and it's an art in itself, but the practice of surrender allows you to drop into your flow a lot more, where you can be more resilient to when life throws curveballs at you, and you just go, okay, I can deal with this. I'm not going to allow this situation to overpower me and create a fearful response. I'm better than that and I'm bigger than that. So surrender is a really big one as well.
That would be really hard for a lot of people to do. So it's good that you have a whole week dedicated to learning that.
Yeah, and look, that's something I've been practicing this for years, and this is something I'm still trying to get my head around and master, and I have curveballs thrown at me all the time, but it's going, right, what tools do I have? What am I trying to hold on to? I'm trying to control this situation, which is not doing anything. I can't control the situation. I need to let go of it so that a solution actually turns up for me. And it takes time. It's a practice, just like meditation and mindfulness it takes months and years sometimes.
It does definitely take practice, meditation, because a lot of people go, well, I can't meditate because my mind is too busy, my mind races, and it's like, you'll get better.
Yeah, that's it. You will. It's just being disciplined and dedicated and just going, I'm just going to start with the 2 or 5 minutes and just do that every day and just sit there.
Yeah.
Sit there and then allow my thoughts to do whatever they need to do, and then over time it'll quieten a little bit more. And some days, I have these, some days my mind won't switch off and I'm just like, okay, it's just one of those days, and you surrender to that. You let go of having to control your thoughts or something like that. You just let it go. Yeah.
Nice. Do you have any favorite affirmations or quotes to help you get through a hard day, or just generally?
Yep. So perfectionism is something that I think we all struggle with. I know I do. And when I find myself in situations where I feel like I have to put on a performance, or I have to put on a mask, or I have to be a certain way, I have to constantly remind myself, embrace my imperfections, and I just say over and over, I am good enough. I am good enough as I am. That's it. And that helps me go, yeah, you know what, no matter what I'm doing in my life, no matter what I look like, no matter what I say, I'm good enough. It doesn't matter if I stuff up. It doesn't matter. So that's a really, really big one for me. And I also share that with a lot of my clients as well, because they stress, their perfectionism is causing their stress, and go, you are good enough. You're good enough where you are. The other one is I am exactly where I need to be. So, yeah, I think a lot of the time, life's here, life's happening in this moment, but we want to get over there. And so all of our thoughts project over into the future, and we actually miss out on what's going on in this moment, and we forget to enjoy the journey while striving for the goal, the classic saying. So it's to remind yourself, you are exactly where you need to be. You don't have to be anywhere else. You don't need to be over there, because I tell you what, when you get over there, you're going to set another bar, and you're going to think that you need to go even further. So letting go of all of that and actually saying, I am exactly where I need to be, and I am good enough. They're the two.
I totally agree with that, in that when you set your happiness based around goals, then you're never going to be completely satisfied, because the goalpost is, you're always going to be moving it. Exactly. Whereas if you, I love gratitude practice, and so focusing on your happiness around the small things, like the sunshine on your back, or wearing a comfy cardigan, or something like small like that, then you can be happy with the small things, and it's just so much more achievable, and everyone can do it.
yeah, because there is always something to be grateful for. Always, no matter what's going on in your life, and how uncomfortable some things can be, and then we can really have some very, very uncomfortable things happen, but there is always something to be grateful for. And it could be like the sunshine, something as simple as hot running water, and having a hot shower, and how comfortable that makes you feel. Those little things are really important. Yeah.
I recently got my shower fixed, and it was just like releasing these blobs of water, and then on the day that you finally get it back and it's like this amazing shower, it's like, oh, this is so good.
And you
It's
really
like,
appreciate it
this is gratitude.
when you don't have it and then you have it and you're like, oh my God, thank you.
I know. Well, for just on our shower, just talking about my shower, it was like a really, really gradual breakdown. So I didn't even notice that it was gonna that it was getting bad until it was just like, this is terrible, and it was right like when it was really, really cold. So that was even better.
Oh no, even worse. Well, that was a good gratitude moment for you.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So what about mantras? Do you have any favorite like mantras, or is it just what you said? Like,
Yeah. I'm literally just using the affirmations. Mantras I don't use so much, but affirmations certainly through the day to bring myself back and give myself perspective about what's really going on in the world. And it's our thoughts. Our thoughts create fear. Our thoughts create this perpetual stress cycle, and we have the power to pull ourselves back. But it's just having all of these tools to do so, remembering, oh, okay, practice mindfulness, bring myself into the present moment, breathe, say your affirmations, get yourself centered, and it's powerful. It works, and that's why I teach it, because it works for me, it works for my clients, and I'll hopefully get to teach a lot more people. So affirmations, mantras, whatever works for you. Absolutely. Yeah.
and I think food's a pretty good thing in terms of dealing with stress as well. Do you have any particular recipes that you're particularly fond of as a stress busting recipe?
Oh, stress busting recipe. Probably not like your oh, your noise there.
Yeah, I had a plane going over.
Oh, okay. Uh, it's not. I don't really have a particular stress busting recipe, but I'm a really, really big fan on a protein rich breakfast. It sets me up for the whole day, and it also really, really helps stabilize my blood sugar levels, which for me can go a little bit ups and downs. So I'm really big on making sure I have protein and veggies, and I don't really go for too sweet, sugary, or fruit-filled breakfast. That just doesn't work for me. Might work for you, but or other people. It's for me. I need I need eggs, and I need nuts and seeds, and a little bit of yogurt, or some smoked salmon in my eggs, and some broccoli or asparagus and things like that to actually help fill me up. And it gives me so much energy. And I find when I have something small or sugary or more fruit based, I find that I get hungry very early. It doesn't really satisfy me, and I also have a bit of an energy crash. So I just know that protein and veggies together, especially in the morning, and for your dinner, your lunch and dinner for each meal, really sets me up for a good mood as well. So that when stress decides to bombard me, that I can cope a little bit better.
Because our moods are very proportional to our blood sugar level control as well.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
if your blood sugar level is up and down all over the time, then your moods are going to be. And if you have this nice slow release meal with protein and veggies, then you're going to be feeling pretty stable, which is good.
Yeah. So that's what I recommend for those who are having those ups and downs, especially mid morning, and they're not having a really good quality breakfast. It could just be that you just need to have protein and veggies to stabilize your mood and your blood sugars for that morning until you have lunch. It could be really, really simple. So I talk a little bit about that in week 2 as well, because it's so important. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, nice.
as you know.
Yeah. I think that like if you are getting a lot of blood sugar level imbalances as well, it can really set you up for other issues further on down the track, like leading into adrenal fatigue and other hormonal imbalances and thyroid problems. And so if you sort your blood sugar levels out first, then it does solve a lot of other issues.
Yep, yep, and it's a really simple thing to do. Just eat good quality food. I'm a really big advocate for just eat real food.
Love it. Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
just hashtag.
Hashtag Jeff.
Yeah, because we just got to go back to basics, and our bodies respond really well to just real food, natural food, as natural as possible. Our bodies are designed to have that, and when we supply our bodies with it and all the nutrients, it just thrives. It knows what to do with it, and like you were saying, our energy levels are stable, our healing mechanisms are working, and then we don't fall into the trap of developing further illnesses as a result. So big fan, real food all the way.
I think with keeping your blood sugar levels stable as well, it's quite important in terms of dealing with emotional eating and like willpower in terms of eating as well, because your brain requires your glucose as your main source of fuel. And if you're having something that sends your blood sugar levels haywire, your brain's going to essentially be starving. And so it will eventually be able to break down your muscles to glucose to get the food, but that takes a long time. So it will be sending out these messages saying, give me sugar.
Yeah, donuts and a sweet coffee. 11 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you notice by your next mealtime that you're starting to feel like that, then you probably do need to work on your previous meal.
Yeah, yeah, and it can be that simple, but it's obviously having that knowledge there in the first place that helps. But that's why, naturopaths and nutritionists are here. So to actually say, look, just eat in this manner and stabilize your blood sugar levels, stabilize your mood. You'll feel so much better when you actually have a busy day and you have lots of things going on and deadlines. You actually cope a lot better. And your body starts healing in a way that it didn't have the opportunity before, because it was just constantly trying to survive, really.
I think so much that we just need to get back to the basics. And at the moment, we're in this information age where so many people can read about all these convoluted treatment techniques and protocols for their conditions, whereas they're forgetting the basics, and that's eat real food, like eat regularly, and sleep, and deal with your stress.
Yeah.
And so much resolves after you deal with those basics.
Yeah, absolutely, because our bodies are so intelligent. They know exactly what to do at certain times, but we need to provide the space for it to do so. Like you said, sleep is huge. There's so many of us are sleep deprived, but so much healing happens when we're asleep. As you know, when you got a cold or you got tummy issues or you're just really stressed, have a really good week of solid sleep, each night, and that can be enough to help shift something. It's so simple, going back to basics, but you're right, like the information age confuses all of us because we don't know where to turn. We don't know who do we listen to, what research is out there now, and they're saying this and that, and we should eat this. Oh no, we shouldn't. And it's like just go back.
It's so hard. And I think it's as well as that everyone is an individual and everyone responds to things differently. And when we look at studies, they say, all right, well, this worked in a certain percent of the population, and so then that gets then this abstract formed, and people take that and they write articles about it, and they say this treatment is amazing in this condition, and so everyone goes and tries it. But it's like, well, you may be that portion that it didn't respond well to, or you may actually benefit from it. But so I'm like, having said that, what we just said about the basics, definitely I think that there is room for complicated treatments and things like that, but deal with the basics first.
Yeah, see if the basics work for you, and if they don't, go to plan B and narrow it down to something that is appropriate for you. Because there are certain diet regimes that some people need to stick to for whatever reason, and but they can still have that back to basics diet within that framework, and that really works for them.
Mm.
So individualizing it, absolutely, but start with the basics, as you said.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of a bit of a structured program in that. All right, well, first, similar to your program, in that we're going to focus on sleep, and then we're going to focus on meditation, and then we're going to focus on learning breathing exercises, and eventually things just get better and better and better, and by the end you don't need that individualized amino acid blend or that.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, like those supplements and a lot of the individual nutrients and things that we dispense are there to act as a catalyst, but they're not there to be there forever. In my books, anyway. And they're there to just sort of guide the body into a state of healing while you're having the lifestyle changes, and then the body naturally goes into its natural healing mechanisms. And then you can take those supplements away because the body knows what to do with the diet, essentially. So that's exactly how I work as well. It's so important, and I'm sure that we're getting results because of that, because we're going back to basics with people and sort of guiding them in that way. Yeah.
But yeah, I do love my herbs, and we're getting close to the end now, so I always like to finish this with a what's your favorite herb? And so, as we're talking about your crazy to calm, what's your favorite calming herb?
Oh, all right. So there's so many. I don't know how to decide. My favorite calming herb would have to be Ziziphus.
I was going to say that.
Really? Oh, I love it. I think it's so good. I think for those that are really, really struggling with anxiety, it can be such a beautiful, gentle sedative throughout the day, not to make you go to sleep, but to actually just calm down that nervous system. And I find it's a little bit stronger than something like passion flower. I find that it works a little bit better for those really, really wound up, anxious types, when you're feeling really, really overwhelmed and stressed because of whatever reason. And Ziziphus can help just sort of take that edge off in a way. So that would have to be my top. That's the one I probably use the most in clinic.
I use a lot of Ziziphus as well. I have the big mega tub of Ziziphus.
Okay. Yeah.
And I love it in menopause.
Yeah, that's really good as well. Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, well, Ziziphus was going to be my favourite, but I would probably say my second favourite would be Kava Kava.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, and I love that there's so much research behind it at the moment. We have some fantastic people in the field doing research on Kava, and it wasn't available to us recently because there were some concerns about liver damage, but what we actually found that those issues with the liver damage were based on studies where they had taken the peeling of the root, which is not traditionally used, and they'd used it in an alcohol extract, which is not traditionally used. Whereas when we take the herb in a traditional way, which is in a water extract of the peeled root, we have no liver damage.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's still something that we keep in our minds and we monitor liver function tests, but the studies have shown that it's really good, and I love that it's also really good as it doesn't make you groggy when you're operating machinery, and it doesn't interact with most medications and things like that, and so you can take it just as a pill, or you can use the water extract in your formula, and it's great for sleep, and it's great for just chilling you out and making you feel zen.
Yeah, we all need a bit of that.
Okay, so and then probably passion flower would be my second after that.
Yeah, they're the top three, I'd say.
Yeah.
I use them a lot as well. Yeah, we there's so many people in this need that, just that very gentle sedating, not the sedative in a pharmaceutical sense where it knocks you out, but just calm. It's more on a calming level, isn't it? It's more that get you into that zen space. Yeah.
And what I love about these class of herbs, the nerve vines as well, is that they're regenerative.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can people get in contact with you?
Okay. Probably my website would be the best way, and I have contact forms and I've got my email there as well. But you're welcome to send me an email, but visit the website, which is melindaking.com.au. That also has links to my Crazy to Calm program, and I've also got my blog up there as well, which has articles and videos and recipes as well. So melindaking.com.au.
Beautiful. And if people obviously want to get in contact with me, it's naturopathnSW.com.au, or through Facebook, it's Alison Mitchell Naturopath, and Instagram is AlisonM_Naturopath. And if people have enjoyed what they're hearing today, please subscribe on iTunes, and also, of course, leave us a review. That would be lovely. And next time we'll be probably talking about children's health. So that'll be exciting. So thank you so much for joining us, Melinda. And
thanks so much for having me. It's been really great chatting.
Yeah, it's so great hearing about your program, and it looks amazing. Like just the aesthetics of it is just so wonderful, and I think it's something that everyone would really benefit from.
Thanks so much.
So have a great day, and see you later.
Bye.